Now we will move to the next topic. The focus of the next topic will be about the family, the challenges of the family today, and how the church in Asia can respond creatively for the pastoral care of families. Our first speakers would be Mr. and Mrs. Daniel and Shelley A. They are members of the Worldwide Marriage Encounter Leadership Team and members of the Dicastery for Laity, Family and Life. They will speak for around 20 minutes. Please.
Good afternoon, cardinals, bishops, priests, religious, brothers and sisters in Christ. Thank you for inviting us to speak on the family, the foundation of the church, the challenges of the family today, and how can the church in Asia respond creatively for the pastoral care of families. We should make it clear that we are speaking in our own capacity as a married couple and not formally on behalf of the Dicastery for Laity, Family and Life as such. First, let us do a share screen. According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the family is the original cell of social life. It is the natural society in which husband and wife are called to give themselves in love and in the gift of life. The family is the community in which from childhood one can learn moral values, begin to honor God, and make good use of freedom. Family life is an initiation into life in society. Each of us belong to a family. We're parents, siblings, grandparents, extended family. In our family, we are either in relationship or out of relationship with each other. And we believe that for couples to guide and nurture their children, they first need to be growing in their own spousal and spiritual life. In the family, we learn to share, to be compassionate, generous, to love the other, even when he or she is not lovable. This call to love is just like how we are abundantly loved by God, even when we do not deserve his love, when we stray, when we forget him, when we sin.
Parents are the principal and first educators of their children. In this sense, the fundamental task of marriage and family is to be at the service of life. And the home is the first school of Christian life and a school for human enrichment. Here in the family, one learns endurance, the joy of work, fraternal love, generous, even a repeated forgiveness, and above all, divine worship in prayer and the offering of one's life.
When the family, comprising parents, children, grandparents, is functioning well, all will be in relationship. Love flows through this relationship, and the family will invariably share themselves with others, serving others in need.
I know of this man who was fostered to a Muslim family soon after he was born. His mom had 9 other children before him, and she was too ill after giving birth to him to care for him. He was baptized, but not raised a Catholic. At 30+ years old, he met a Catholic lady. She was 13 years his junior, and they got married. Before marriage, she wanted proof that he was not a Muslim, so she asked him to eat a plate of rice noodles with eggs and pork lard. His wife was baptized at 15 years with her mother and grandmother, and they received home catechism given by a missionary priest. The man and the lady were married in a nice chapel, and he agreed to go to church with her weekly. Now, they had their fair share of ups and downs. They faced poverty. He was unemployed for some years, and he took up drinking in the early years of marriage. Later, he got into debts, gambling. But his wife's faith in God and Mother Mary's intervention gave her strength to persevere the hardships, and together they raised 5 children on his small income, which meant later that she had to go and work as a house help. Slowly, he became more prayerful, and towards the last years of his life, when he was too weak to go to church, he prayed the rosary with her daily, and a neighbor brought Holy Communion to him. He died at 88 years old after 55 years of marriage. Yes, that is the man. He is my father, and the lady my mom. And their story of faith, of love, of giving to each other have benefited all of us, their children and grandchildren. So like Daniel said, when a family functions well, love will flow through the ups and downs of life.
On the other hand, when families are dysfunctional, relationships get fractured. It becomes very difficult for such families to reach out to others, to serve. So it is vital to help families to be in relationship. At the heart of the family is the married couple. We will suggest later about ways that as church we can help to form, enhance, and strengthen the marital relationship. Those whose relationships are troubled will also need to be helped. So what are the challenges of the family today? We know that Asia is not a homogeneous continent. There is a diversity of cultures, religions, languages, cuisines. But a big positive is that Asian societies are centered on the family, where generally interest of the family, community, and society is placed above the interest of each individual. And that is a strength that must be preserved and strengthened.
So we asked some leaders in our community, and they cited some observations and challenges of families in their countries today. They spoke about financial security, poverty, wars and conflicts, natural disasters, decline in family values, migration where families live apart long distances, addictions, loneliness, work-life balance, mental health issues, and academic stress.
Even more worrying is the creeping in of individualism through especially the mass media and social media, the what's in it for me attitude. Over time, this attitude, aggravated by the other challenges, will break up families and lead to the loss of precious life-giving relationships. So how can the church in Asia respond creatively for the pastoral care of families? We would suggest 3 categories of actions. One is formation and training.
Enhance the formation of clergy, religious, and lay volunteers in answering the pastoral needs of the people. Provide training programs for them to acquire the skills of listening, to have empathy, skills of dialogue, so as to be better able to serve families. Priests, religious, and lay volunteers are formed in their family homes. They need to have good spiritual and psychological well-being, and some may have come from dysfunctional homes, and they need healing during their seminary, religious formation, and lay volunteer training. For pre-marriage formation, have well-developed programs that will help the young couples to understand themselves and each other and prepare themselves for the realities of family life. Form them to place God at the center and use experienced and well-functioning married couples to present programs to them. We already have programs like Catholic Engage Encounter, Marriage Preparation Course, Couple Mentorship Journey, and the key is to ensure that the programs are effective and relevant to society. Recently, the Dicastery for Laity, Family and Life has just issued guidelines to the local churches for the introduction of a catechumenate for married life.
Strengthen marriages through experiential programs to enhance intimacy, learning to communicate effectively, learning to forgive, and practice acceptance. These programs have to be Christ-centered to be effective. We ourselves benefited immensely from attending the Marriage Encounter Weekend in our early years of marriage and have been serving as presenters since 1990.
The church will also need to support and journey with couples in troubled marriages. There are programs that are designed specifically to address such needs. There are already pre-marriage and post-marriage programs available in various countries in Asia. We suggest there could be a sharing of resources among the countries. And FABC could act as a platform to share resources and programs, have a database of the programs offered, what are their focus areas, which countries they are presented in, who are the leadership couples and priests and religious, provide their contact details, the languages that they are used. Such a platform and database can help to speed up the work of strengthening marriages and families across Asia.
We could use technology to strengthen relationships, creating chat groups, email groups to ensure constant, sustained, and meaningful connections and communications among small groups of married couples who might have journeyed in the same program together. Encourage and train more laborers for the vineyard, lay and clergy in the pastoral care of the vulnerable, especially the poor and marginalized, helping them not only in their physical needs, but also to help enhance spousal and family relationships. The church can work with like-minded NGOs to develop sustainable livelihood programs for the poor. When their basic physical needs are met, it will be easier for them to think of strengthening their spousal, family, and spiritual life.
Focus on sustaining family connections for the spouses who live apart in different countries because of employment reasons. Activities, retreats, formations can be organized in churches that will help these spouses to sustain their spousal and family relationships.
Deepen spiritual life through retreats for individuals, for couples, for families, for seniors. This needs to continue and made relevant for the needs of the people. For example, in Singapore, many Catholics and non-Catholics have attended the Conversion Experience Retreat, a group-based retreat conducted by our Archbishop Cardinal William Goh. At the same time, many people have gone to the Seven Fountains in Chiang Mai, Thailand, for silent retreats, two different modes of retreat with the same spiritual aim of connecting with God. The key is to feed the people spiritually through ways that will speak to them at a particular stage of their lives. The next body of actions is structural changes.
So couples, make it possible for them to serve and take on ministry leadership positions as a couple, not as two separate individuals. Currently, most church organizations do not provide for this. And what they have is they are expected to serve as two separate people. And in some situations, they are given that there's a men's wing and a women's wing. So they serve separately. When we say that couples should serve as a couple, the two of them will have only one vote so that they will be on the same level as individuals serving on their own. This will be a very powerful signal to the parish of what we mean when we say marriage is a sacrament. They are no longer two, but become one. They will love and serve each other and other people as how God loves. What a powerful testimony of God's love in action. Couples become walking, talking sacrament. And there are movements that already have this in practice, like Catholic Engaged Encounter and Retroval.
In fact, these movements have gone a step further by having married couples and priests serve together as a unit in leadership. The priest is not a spiritual director only, but a partner in the three-person relationship leadership, called aptly the ecclesial team. The priest living the sacrament of holy orders and the couple, the sacrament of holy matrimony, become complementary and co-responsible for the movement. The three become partners and close friends over time, sharing meals, dialoguing with one another regularly. We ourselves continue to dialogue with a Filipino priest in Dumaguete, whom we had worked with as an ecclesial team from 2011 to 2019.
In March 2014, Pope Francis emphasized that marriage and holy orders constitute two great paths by which Christians can make his life a gift of love. after the example of St. Paul and his friends Aquila and Priscilla, and thus cooperate in the building up of the church. A retired bishop in the US, Bishop Bill Skillstead, who was once the former president of the USCCB, and he served in the North American ecclesial team of Marriage Encounter. He used to say that this way of the two sacraments working together is exactly how the church should be functioning. It encourages the lay to serve with passion and automatically encourages much female participation as men, and it breaks down clericalism, which Pope Francis has spoken out against throughout his papacy.
Make masses family friendly, especially for the children and teens. Have uplifting hymns and homilies. If a room is created to accommodate babies, don't call it a cry room, which gives such a negative connotation that it is wrong for babies to cry and they are not welcome in the main church. Involve the young. Our parish priests enrolled a few teenagers to be lectors. They were trained, and the teenagers really rose to the occasion. They proclaimed the word so well. Seeing such young people in such positions livens up the atmosphere in church. The end result would be young, adult, and elderly all serving the church. Another powerful sign of being church. And finally, keep the ministry of altar service alive and strong among young children all the way to the teens. We have seen in some countries, especially in the West, where there are no more altar servers, possibly as a consequence of the damaging clergy abuse that took place. We in Asia should make every effort to keep alive and strengthen this ministry of altar service. Again, the presence of children and teens in the sanctuary assisting the celebrant is a very powerful sign to the congregation. The next body of actions is activities.
We suggest to renew family traditions, cultures, and values. Values like respect for the elders, preparing for Sunday, Easter Sunday, for Christmas with family projects. And we can reclaim the dinner table, having no smartphones so that we can be engaged in conversations. We need to seek forgiveness of our spouse in front of the children because that will be the best teacher for them. The church can provide interesting activities that are aimed at strengthening such traditions. They have to be fun, bonding experiences with achievable takeaways that the family can put into practice right away. For instance, movie nights for couples, for family, with reflection questions that they can think about and respond to situations for their relationships. Parents and children, afternoon bonding sessions, with inputs and activities, followed by a meal. The key is to be creative, to answer the needs of the family.
Celebrate milestone wedding anniversaries in Sunday masses. When a congregation sees couples married for different milestone years, they will see that marriage is alive and well. It is worth celebrating. They will be particularly uplifted and motivated when they see couples married for 50 or more years celebrate their anniversaries.
Invite experts on certain topics or use video clips on matters like parenting, praying as a family. Pair the seniors with the young people to tap on the seniors' wisdom, and the young can teach the seniors how to use the computer, the smartphone, creating videos. They can share their faith stories. Grandchildren can have oral interviews with their grandparents, and this will preserve the experiences of the grandparents. We need to be innovative in evangelizing. We start small, but dream big. We accompany small cells, motivate them regularly, and inspire them through concrete acts of love. Our parish started an outreach program to help the poor, and many families have come forward and are now involved and are serving as families. Encourage parents to be educators of the young on matters like marriage and vocation. At the World Meeting of Families this year, Mrs. Gabriela Gambino, the Undersecretary of the Dicastery for Laity, Family and Life, she and her husband spoke about remote preparation for young children. by sharing wedding photographs with them, have conversations with them about the beauty of marriage so as to prepare the soil and convey to the young the desire to get married.
What we have spoken about is not meant to be an exhaustive list. The point is that dioceses and parishes are exceptionally well placed to conduct programs and provide activities that can reclaim, renew, and strengthen couple and family life. What is important is that we need to be creative and answer the needs of the people.
So in conclusion, we hope that our presentation could be helpful in deepening and widening discussion and consideration by the dioceses in Asia in this area of marriage and family life. With increasing challenges besetting the world, we could argue that marriage and family life are existential issues for the church as well as society. So the more we devote efforts to the pastoral care of marriages and family life, the more we will have a fully alive and vibrant church. And so we end with the Pope's mandate to all families at the World Meeting of Families this year. Be the seed of a more fraternal world. Be families with big hearts. Be the welcoming face of the church. And please pray. Always pray.
Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Daniel and Shelley E., for your interesting presentation, for reminding us of the importance of the family as the cell of social life, but also as the foundation of the church, but also of the challenges the family are facing today. Thanks also for the detailed proposal or suggestions about the creative or possible responses for the pastoral of families. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite our next speakers, Michael and Lucia Akhara Sukawat. They are the national presidents of Christian Family Movement in Thailand. They will also speak for around 20 minutes. But before, I'm sorry, let us take 2 minutes of silent prayer. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be.